This is as pretty as it gets. This ridiculously charming and picturesque coastal town in Istria is one of the most beloved and beautiful holiday destinations in Croatia. It sits on a small peninsula and has stunning stone-paved streets, amazing architecture, and rich historical heritage. It is surrounded by an archipelago of beautiful islands and is famous for its great beaches. This is Rovinj. Hi guys! My name is Rok and I spent last 9 years traveling around Europe as a tour guide, and I can't wait to show you things to do and best beaches in Rovinj, Croatia. For most of its existence, Rovinj used to be an island. That's part of the reason why houses and streets are so narrow here. Like some other Istrian towns, Rovinj was also home of the Romans, then it was ruled by Byzantine Empire, and then it experienced centuries of instability until in the 13th century the town became part of the powerful Venetian Republic. For the next 500 years, Rovinj was under Venetian rule and it started to expand. Eventually, the island became too small and the town expanded on the mainland. In the 1700s, the channel between the island and the mainland was filled with earth, and that's how the old part of the town found itself on a peninsula. Having ruled for half a millennia, Venetians left a big impact in Rovinj. Their legacy can be seen in town's architecture and in stone-carved symbols of Venetian Republic, a winged lion with a book found in different places around town. During the Venetian period, Rovinj was fortified by 2 rows of defensive walls, and town gates were the only way in and out of the fortified town. But in the 17th century, Rovinj was rapidly expanding and there was a huge demand for new residential space. That is why medieval town walls were incorporated into the new buildings, and town walls are only partially preserved. But 3 of the old town gates are still standing. This Baroque archway replaced one of the original town gates in the 1600s. It serves as the entrance into the old town and is one of the landmarks of Rovinj. Of course, it bears a symbol of Venetian rule, the Lion of Saint Mark, but more interestingly, you can spot 1 head on each side of the arch. One is the head of a bearded Venetian, while the other is the head of an Ottoman. This is funnel-shaped main square that opens up to the historic harbor. It is full of cafes and restaurants, and it's a perfect place to enjoy in a gelato, coffee, or a meal. But this square also tells a beautiful story how over centuries different cultures and nations contributed to the creation of Rovinj as we see it today. In the 17th century, Venetians filled the canal and created this main square. Following the fall of Venice, Rovinj became part of the Austrian Empire for the next 100 years. Many buildings, including the notable town clock tower, were built by the Austrians. In the middle of the square is a small fountain with a sculpture of a boy with a fish. This is Croatian contribution from the 1950s. You see, after the collapse of the Austrian Empire at the end of the First World War, Rovinj became part of Italy until the end of the Second World War. Then it became part of Croatia, a country that remained part of a federal state of Yugoslavia until its independence in 1991. The square got its name after Yugoslavian communist leader Tito, and the original Italian town name Rovigno was renamed into Rovinj. All these historical events are the reason why Rovinj is such a charming place, and also explains why signs are in Croatian and Italian language. Now I want to show you my favorite part of Rovinj, its ridiculously beautiful stone-paved streets. If you like charming old windy streets, Rovinj is the place. If you're like me, then you'll spend hours discovering charming old hidden places and admiring ancient stone details. If you look up, you'll spot a laundry hanging out to dry, and that tells you that this is still a living and breathing old town and not just a tourist place. As the entire old town is a pedestrian-only area, you can relax and enjoy an unforgettable stroll. You can't get lost here, as all streets leading downhill will eventually end up on the main square, and all streets leading uphill will take you to the main church. But you can get easily disoriented by narrow and mysterious passages connecting windy streets. In the ground floor of the old stone houses are beautiful shops, galleries and restaurants that will make the experience even better. Despite all charming streets, you shouldn't miss on Bregovita Street, which in translation means the hilly street. It has mysterious arches and porticos and is considered to be the most beautiful in Rovinj. Grisia is another beautiful street in the very heart of the old town. It has the oldest paving in town and is famous for its cascading steps that lead up to the parish church on the top of the hill. This street is renowned for artists showing their paintings and has all kinds of artisanal shops. Besides narrow streets, Old Town also offers splendid vast view of Adriatic if you take a stroll along short but beautiful promenade leading around the tip of the peninsula. Just follow the streets along the coast that will take you here. Along the way you will see cafes and bars with stunning sea view. Here are also various steps leading to the rocky beach. On the tip is also a small concrete guardhouse and observation bunker that were built by the Germans during the Second World War. Once you get around the tip, path climbs towards the parish church. This path was built in the 1800s when Rovinj became part of Austrian Empire to enable Austrian Emperor and his wife to arrive in front of the parish church with carriages. On the highest point of Rovinj stands the dominant Roman Catholic Church. Churches were standing here from the very beginnings of Rovinj, but the story of the present one is very interesting. The legend goes that one day church bells began to ring and people flocked to the sea. A marble sarcophagus floated in like a stone ship. People tried to pull the stone tube into a town by using horse and ox carriages, but in vain. The saint presented herself to a small boy and ordered him to take the stone tomb to the top of the hill. And indeed, before the amazed crowd, a small boy pulled the sarcophagus up to the church. The sarcophagus was opened and people saw motionless body of a beautiful girl. Next to her was a scroll of parchment paper saying, "This is the body of Saint Euphemia, born for the heaven on September 16th of the year of our Lord 304. Soon after, new church was built and it was dedicated to Saint Euphemia, a new patron saint of Rovinj. Today's appearance dates to 1700s when church went through major reconstruction, but it still holds a sarcophagus and the body of Saint Euphemia. The sarcophagus can be seen behind the side altar dedicated to the saint. The self-standing church tower is older than the current church as it was built in 1600s for the previous church. It is a replica of the bell tower of St. Mark's Basilica in Venice. On the top of this 60 meters or 196 feet high tower stands a bronze statue of Saint Euphemia that spins around to show the direction of the wind with her right hand. If you climb to the bell tower, you will have to do 102 dodgy narrow wooden steps that are not for the faint-hearted. But once you'll get to the top, you will have the best view in town. Amazing 360 view will let you admire the town and the surrounding archipelago of islands. From June till September, the bell tower is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., but in May it closes at 4 p.m. The bell tower is accessible through the church and the entrance is 20 kuna. The best way to end your visit of the church is by stopping right under the church entrance in this nice cafe bar XL. It is set up on a green lawn and offers a wonderful view of Adriatic. This is one of many perfect spots in Rovinj for watching sunset. Austrians took control of Rovinj, they quickly realized that it has exceptional climate, nature and wildlife. Soon they built a climate resort for children, and that's how tourism in Rovinj started. Exceptional nature is still preserved in one of the most beautiful nature parks in Istria, the Golden Cape Forest Park. You can get here in about 20 minutes walk from the old town, walking along the shore. This cape was bought by Austrian entrepreneur Georg Hütteroth in 1890. Entrepreneurs started a slow transformation of the landscape into this beautiful forest park, as he intended to transform it into a health resort. It's supposed to become one of the most important tourism destinations in this part of the world. Hütteroth built many tree-lined paths, promenades, trails and meadows, but his vision of a health resort never materialized, and eventually the cape became a forest park. Today this is a popular destination for jogging, cycling and taking a walk all year round. All along the shore of the cape you can also swim and sunbathe. Inside the Golden Cape Forest Park you will see numerous places where you can swim and sunbathe. But this beach is one of the largest and most visited in Rovinj. It is located opposite of the Red Island and it's partly pebble and partly rocky. Its calm waters make it perfect for swimming and snorkeling. You can find it by following the signs for windrows. This beach on the edge of the Golden Cape Park is also close to the luxury hotels. That is why it's mostly covered with pebbles and offers wide green areas for sunbathing with some shade. Part of the beach that stretches inside the park is mostly rocky with many pebble inlets. This rocky beach is on the tip of the Old Town Peninsula, directly beneath the Church of St. Euphemia. This unique spot is perfect for sunbathing on large rocks. It has steps and rocky shore, although there are few ladders which make access easier. There are also a few pebble inlets, but there is no shade. If you need a quick dip into town, this is a great option. You were warned at the beginning that Rovinj is as pretty as it gets. This is a perfect summer holiday destination with great beaches, beautiful islands and crystal clear sea, topped with charming old town full of amazing heritage. You can spend your evenings in romantic strolls along the coastal promenade or on charming windy streets. Old Town is full of great restaurants, bars and gelato places and offers much more attractions and heritage that I haven't even mentioned. Here are many archaeological sites worth visiting, beautiful galleries and great museums dedicated to local heritage. You should also do a boat trip around the archipelago and get to know beautiful surroundings of Rovinj. You'll find available boat tours in the harbor. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more beautiful places in Istria, check my playlist in the top corner. Share your questions, suggestions or experience about Rovinj in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit notification bell to be notified about my future travel videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.